we take a look inside a disturbing practice. Parents worry that their children might be gay, sending them to programs promising to change their child's sexual orientation. ABC's Brian Ross visited some of these organizations across the country in a year-long investigation and found that in some cases, their methods can range from simply controversial to extremely cruel.
Okay, so this is a bit of a rush job.
Actor Jeremy Jordan was busy filming his role as Supergirl's sidekick in the popular CBS series.
Are you crying?
No.
When he got some news that would affect him. The news about his 17-year-old lesbian cousin, Sarah, who had been sent away by her parents.
They were taking drastic measures and putting her away for being gay, and she was terrified.
Sarah Jabert was being held incommunicado at the Heartlight Christian Boarding School outside Hallsville, Texas, a well-kept, sprawling, ranch-like facility. Her parents deny they sent her here because she had a girlfriend, but Heartlight says it is a place of refuge for teens, including lesbians.
Well, we kind of specialize in that now.
This is how its owner, Mark Gregston, describes the work on his website.
I meet with girls across the country that are struggling in same-sex relationships, and I think I've just gained an understanding about how to approach them.
And Sarah's friends feared that she was about to be put through an ordeal designed to stop her from embracing her sexuality.
She had no contact with the outside world. They took away her phone, and she's just basically in this sort of surprise prison, almost.
Prison?
Yeah.
Jordan's cousin Sarah is one of the unknown number of American gay teens who have been sent away to religious programs.
As a Christian, I believe that the Bible teaches that to choose to engage in homosexual conduct is a sin.
Pastor Peter Sprigg of the powerful conservative group the Family Research Council insists what he calls sexual reorientation therapy with spirituality can work.
With teenage boys and girls, it's probably the most likely to be effective because their sexuality is still developing, and therefore they're less set in their ways.
Even though leading medical groups and the U.S. Surgeon General say that it is not effective and may cause harm.
No, I don't agree with that.
You think it is sound?
I think it is sound.
And that it does not harm the people who are put through this therapy?
That's correct.
Heartlight in Texas says it does not practice gay conversion, but does warn the parents of lesbians on its website that doing nothing only allows her to sink deeper into a lifestyle that God warns against. But help was on the way for Sarah thanks to her cousin.
There's change coming.
A small-town Texas boy making it big in show business. This was Jeremy Jordan in the Broadway play Newsies. He set out to use his celebrity to launch an internet campaign to raise money for lawyers to get Sarah out.
And I was like, we have to say something out loud about this. We started a GoFundMe page, and it basically told Sarah's story.
Tonight, family members of a gay teen want her out of a Christian boarding facility.
And within like a couple days, it was being picked up by all, big news sites all around the country and around the world.
But there were also those angry about what Jordan was doing to help his gay cousin, against her parents' wishes.
I can't believe that you are going against this girl's parents.
In a statement to ABC News, Sarah's parents said the programs they sent their daughter to were loving and could help her. Quote, although we do not agree with some of our daughter's decisions, we love her unconditionally and continue to pursue a close relationship with her.
At the root of it was all her sexual identity and not being able to truly be who she was.
But the campaign for Sarah seemed to have worked. In the wake of all the public attention, the Heartlight Christian School sent Sarah home.
I think eventually they just had me leave because people were threatening to come protest and force their way in to get me out.
But for other gay teens who don't have a famous cousin, they've been on their own.
Turn onto Brewer Road.
Especially in places like this, down a dirt road in Alabama, the Blessed Hope Boys Academy. A place where the Christian pastor in charge told our ABC News undercover investigators that with a Bible and sometimes a belt, he knows how to deal with teenagers who consider themselves gay.
It's going against the Word of God. It is not biblically right.
Calling himself Brother Gary, he said he has an 80% success rate.
This boy here claims to be homosexual.
And requires parents to give written permission so he can strike their children if they act up.
I wouldn't do it just because, for one, just because he says he's clear. I'm not going to do that.
Right.
Under Alabama's religious freedom law, there is no requirement for this place to be licensed or supervised because it is considered part of a Christian ministry.
For every camp like this, there are 100 more that nobody knows about, that nobody's exposing on TV.
Including another place we discovered in Alabama, outside Mobile, unlicensed and surrounded by barbed wire, run by this man, William Knott, who also calls himself a Christian pastor, but has a track record of physical abuse and cruelty.
Everybody was scared of him.
Lucas Greenfield, a gay teen from Florida, was sent to Knott's Camp at the age of 13 by his Christian parents.
Thrown in isolation and beaten and everything else.
Because
They were assumed to be gay.
gay was a sin?
Gay is a sin, gay is evil, gay is the worst abomination to God, gay is horrible.
Want to ask you a question?
And we saw for ourselves how this Christian pastor reacts to someone he does not like.
I don't want to talk to you. Why not? I'll tell you that because I don't like you. Get away from me. Is this how you treat the young boys? This is how I treat you. Get away from me. Is this how you treat the young boys? Get away from me, sir.
Knott did not know it at the time, but he was about to be taken down, thanks to the courage of some of the teens he abused. Just a few months later, at the Circuit Courthouse in Mobile, Alabama, we would see a much different William Knott, the Christian pastor now on trial for child abuse.
I mean, don't get me wrong, these are not religious people.
The case was prosecuted by Assistant District Attorney Keith Blackwood.
These are people that are using religion as a weapon against these kids for further abuse.
Lucas Greenfield and 5 other teens, gay and straight, took the stand, coming face to face with the man who they say so abused them.
Was it difficult to face down Will Knott?
At first.
Why?
Because he tried to give me that little stare, that evil little man stare, like, I'm gonna do something, but he couldn't do anything.
You told the truth?
Yes.
And what did you say?
Exactly what happened. I told him about the beatings, I told him about the abuse, I told him about everything. The handcuffs, the shackles, the isolation.
Lucas's testimony is extremely important to the trial. You know, the main reason is because he was one of the first witnesses that was willing to tell the truth about what happened.
Mobile County jurors heard from child abuse victims today.
After 5 days of testimony, the case went to the jury.
It's like a weight lifted off. It brings a lot of peace to me to know that what I do is I stand up for what's right and what I believe in. And this was definitely something that I needed to do.
And then the verdict, guilty on all counts. Knott and 2 other so-called Christian pastors taken away in handcuffs, sentenced to 20 years in prison, a sentence the judge said he hopes sends a message across the country. For Nightline, Brian Ross, ABC News, Mobile, Alabama.
Such huge acts of courage from such young people. Our thanks to the entire Brian Ross team.